everybody, welcome back to Raw Synergy TV. Last week I opened up about my long juice cleanse and healing chemical sensitivity, which was a really big deal for me. And I asked you guys to comment below that video and let me know what you wanted to know about my juice cleanse and also what you wanted to see in future videos. And I just want to thank you so much. You guys had such great information and questions and feedback, and that helps me so much. So thank you for that. So today's video is going to be answering your questions about the juice cleanse. The primary questions were, what did I drink on my juice cleanse? How much did I drink? And how often? So let's get right into answering your questions. How much did I drink? I followed John Rose's protocol, and if you're not familiar with John Rose, he's one of only a couple people here on YouTube who have the most thorough information on juice cleansing. I love the advice and the passion that John Rose has about juice cleansing. So his basic protocol is to drink at least a gallon of juice a day, if not more, especially more if you're more active. My average was a little more than a gallon per day, somewhere around 4.7 liters, or basically 5 32-ounce jars. How many green juices versus fruit juices? I basically had 2 green juices per day and 3 fruit juices in order to meet my caloric needs for the day. The real big reason behind doing these long juice cleanses is because most of us have decades worth, depending on how old you are, but decades worth of old, toxic, dried up waste stuck in our digestive system from years of eating a standard American diet or just really bad food. Even a lot of cooked foods, things that we might think are healthy, like oatmeal and grains and pasta and things like that. Because they're like glue, they get stuck in your digestive tract. So it's like really sticky food that gets stuck and trapped, and our bodies don't completely eliminate it. We might eliminate some of it or most of it, but then you keep leaving these layers in your digestive tract that never get cleared out. And so then things start to back up. This is where we start to have like little minor things happen over time, and then the more that food builds up in there and doesn't get completely flushed out, then we start having other issues, malabsorption issues, we start getting pockets and irritations, we start getting ulcers, diverticuli, and all kinds of things start happening where our digestive system and our digestive tract starts getting imbalanced and symptoms start arising. We might become low in energy, we might not digest our food properly, we might start feeling sluggish, our brains may not function as optimally because we're not getting the nutrients. There's all kinds of things that can go wrong. So the whole concept is to really move this stuff out of your system. And when you take in juices, fresh juices that are so full of hydration, proper hydration, when you take in all of this hydration from these juices, it goes in, and all of that stuck waste that's inside your colon and your intestines, it really loosens all of this up and allows it to get flushed out. By not taking in any fiber, you can really start to see all of this old waste coming out. It's pretty incredible, actually. So the concept is to drink enough. You want to drink enough to get your caloric needs for the day so that you stay hydrated and that you don't feel hungry. Anytime you get hungry, you just want to drink more juice. And that was basically the concept that I followed. And I felt very satisfied on 4 to 5 juices. And there were times, a few times, where I was a little bit more active, or just certain days where I felt more hungry, and I would actually maybe have a 1/6 liter of juice. But otherwise, the average for me was basically 5 liters of juice. Another question a lot of people ask me is, how much weight did I lose? And I would say I lost about a little over 10 pounds when I got to my lowest weight. And I would say a good portion of the weight that I lost was old stuck waste that was inside my digestive tract. If you don't have histamine intolerance, you're going to have a much wider variety of foods to choose from and juices to drink. For me, because of the histamine sensitivity, my main calorie source came from apples. I was really restricted. So what I drank, I started my day every day with celery juice, 32 ounces or 1 liter of celery juice. And then I would wait a little while, usually 20 to 30 minutes. And as soon as I felt hungry again, I would have an apple ginger juice. So the juice would be mostly apple, and then I would throw in a good sized knob of ginger. Once that was down, I would wait again until I felt hungry, usually somewhere towards the middle of the afternoon, and then I would drink a second apple juice. Then around dinner time, I would have a green juice, and in the beginning of my juice cleanse, it was usually a kale, celery, cucumber, parsley, or cilantro, or both, and then green apple. Because with green juices, I like them to be a little more tart, and if I had been able to use lemon, I definitely would have thrown in a bunch of lemon. But because I couldn't use lemon, because it's a histamine releaser, there's a word. I would do green apple, because green apple is more tart and it has more of that flavor to round out the greens. So I'd throw in maybe 1 or 2 green apples with the juice. If I didn't have kale, sometimes I might use collard greens. Every once in a while I would throw in carrots or a beet to switch it up. And then sometimes I would keep it really mellow, and I would juice asparagus with celery and apple, like green apple, or I might throw in some cilantro or some dill, carrots. And with that one, because it was much more mild and it kind of had like a little bit of a soup taste, I would eat it in a bowl with a spoon, just to give me the feeling that I was eating soup. As the juice cleanse progressed, my body kind of wanted more simple juices. So then I would just do like celery, cucumber, apple, or celery, parsley, cucumber, apple. Or I would just do cucumber, apple. Or I would do 16 ounces of a cucumber juice and then 16 ounces of carrot juice. And then sometimes I would do a whole 32-ounce jar of carrot juice. And then I would always follow that with my apple ginger juice, because I always like to end on the sweet. For me, it's like having dessert. And so that's pretty much how it went for me. It was very simple and pretty much always the same. So you can imagine that towards the end of the juice cleanse, I was really looking forward to ending and trying something different. Now, I have to say that every once in a while, because it was cherimoya season and because my options were so limited, I actually did juice cherimoya with my apples sometimes on a rare occasion. It wasn't like all the time, but every once in a while I would juice a cherimoya, because the cherimoyas that I get can be a little bit more on the juicier side. So I would juice them with the apples, and that was such a treat. It tasted so good, and I absolutely loved that. So that kind of helped to break up the monotony of the just always juicing apples. And then I also tried juicing blueberries with the apples, which did taste pretty good. But what I found was if I stored the juice in the refrigerator, that the blueberry would congeal at the top, and I'd have this really, really thick jello-like layer at the top that I would have to remove because I didn't want that fiber. Then it would reduce the amount of juice that I had made. And it was also really challenging to strain. It would take a really long time to strain that, and I just wanted to be done with the process because juicing really did take quite a while. I also tried juicing blackberries, which was also really delicious, but that also was very time consuming in terms of straining the juices. So I really stuck to just the apples because it was really fast and convenient. Something else that I tried that I really loved, I'm going to give you 3 other things that I tried that I really, really loved, but they affected me histamine wise. So I have 2 mulberry trees, actually I have 3 mulberry trees. And the Pakistani mulberries, which are the long black, or they're blackish, long dark mulberries, are so good, and they were just dropping from the tree every day, and I just had to try them. So I juiced them with the apples, and it was amazing. It tasted like fruit punch. It was so good, but it gave me a headache really bad. Another thing that I really loved was apple pomegranate. Juicing pomegranates is delicious, and it tastes amazing. But also that seemed to affect me. And we have loads of passion fruit. Our passion fruit vine produced a lot of passion fruit over the winter, which it doesn't typically. It usually does some, but it did quite a bit more this year. So I tried juicing the passion fruit, and that was also really delicious. I would just open up the passion fruit and strain it because it's pretty juicy on its own. Ultimately, what worked the most for me and how my body was responding was the apples, and so that was my primary juice. Since apple juice was my main source of fuel on this juice cleanse, I tried every different kind of apple. Fuji apples, pink lady apples, gala apples, ambrosia apples, opal apples, sugar bee apples, pinata apples, Granny Smith apples, and Honeycrisp. It's amazing how each apple has a completely different taste and flavor. So that really helped a lot to be able to try a bunch of different varieties of apples. And of course, I always did organic because apples can be a heavily sprayed produce item. At the end of my juice cleanse, when I looked at all of the receipts of the apples that I purchased and juiced, I ended up juicing over 1,000 pounds of apples. So at this moment right now, my cells and a huge portion of my body is made of apples. I really listened to my body as far as what it was wanting. There were days when I actually did not want any greens, and so I would just do primarily a day of apple juice. And then there were times when I actually really enjoyed the green juice and I drank a little bit more. So it really was all about tuning in and listening to what my body's needs and desires were. And I really recommend that because it helps you to get through your juice cleanse in a much smoother, more comfortable way. As far as following a schedule, or basically how often did I drink during the day, I really just listened to my body. And in the very beginning, I was still drinking water in the morning. I was drinking a big jar of water first thing in the morning like I typically do. And then I was waiting a while for that to settle in my stomach before I had my celery juice, so that I could have my celery juice on an empty stomach. And it just pushed things off in the day, and I was finding that I was having a little bit of a challenge getting enough calories throughout the day because it was just pushing things off. So I decided, because the juices were so hydrating, that I probably didn't need any water. So I would get up, I would meditate, would come out of meditation, and then go straight into making celery juice. I would take my celery juice and drink that, and then I would wait 20 to 30 minutes or wait until I was feeling hungry, and then I would go right into my apple ginger juice. And it kind of just went from there. And I would just listen to my body. Anytime I got hungry, I would just drink juice. And that's really the key, is to just keep drinking the juice. You want to get your intestines and your colon as hydrated as physically possible to really clear things out and get all that old stuff that's stuck in there loosened up and pushed out. At night, if I was still hungry after those juices, I would have more juice. There were times when I had made all my juice for the day, had it in the fridge, it was all prepped, the juicer was clean, but there were times when at the end of the day, I was still hungry, and I pulled out the juicer and made more juice. I did not want to go to bed hungry, and so I just kept those juices flowing through me. And I recommend that as well. It's always good to have some extra juices in the fridge so that you're always prepared. You guys really wanted to know like some juice recipes and some varieties of juices to make. And so I just want to share, if I could have juiced anything, like if there was nothing off limits for me, these are some of the things that I would have juiced. Definitely melons. Melons would be at the top of my list. I would have loved to juice watermelon, Tuscan melon, canary melons, any kind of melons that are ripe and in season. That is definitely something that I would have juiced and would have loved. Like, I'm actually still craving watermelon, and it's Histamine liberator, that is the word that I was looking for. Things like watermelon and lemon, they're histamine liberators. So what they do, they're not naturally high in histamine, but once they get inside your body, they basically release any histamine that is in your body. Oranges and other citrus juices are also things that I would absolutely, definitely juice on a juice cleanse. They are so good at going in and loosening that stuff up and getting it out of you. They are really good detoxifiers. So definitely would do citrus juices of all kinds. Tangerine, grapefruit, orange, lemon, lime, all of those. Definitely pineapple by itself or mixed with other juices like citrus juices and berries. I would love a pineapple, orange, strawberry juice. That is amazing. I would do pineapple kiwi. I would do pineapple strawberry. Definitely grape juice. Grape juice is so good, satiating, and a really great internal cleanser. My friends were doing grape lemon, which would be very astringent and helping to detoxify all the junk that's in your body. Like I mentioned before, the apple pomegranate, apple mulberry, apple strawberry would be so good. Putting the passion fruit in juices like apple, orange, even the pineapple, any of those would be so good with the passion fruit. Pear is another great item to juice. Pear with apple, pear with pineapple. Any combination with pear is good. Pear with the greens would be good. Pear with cucumber would be good. I've never been able to try Lou Corona's Lemon Ginger Blast. That's something that I definitely would do. I heard so many good things about the Lemon Ginger Blast really helping to open people's kidneys up and getting them to filter, which is something that you really want to happen when you're cleansing and clearing out your lymphatic system. I will leave a link to that down below in the information box, so if you're wanting to try that, you guys will have the recipe to give that a try. Anything with peaches and nectarines, I think that those would make great, absolutely delicious juices, combined with apple, combined with pineapple, even the orange. I think that would be so good. And finally, if I could juice them, tomatoes. I love tomatoes and I love tomato juice. So if I had the ability to juice tomatoes, I would make amazing veggie juices with tomatoes, like a V8, adding tomato juice, celery, carrot juice, maybe a little beet in there, adding some greens like parsley, some lemon. That would be so good. Those would ideally be my favorite juices if I was able to juice them. So I hope you're able to juice all of those juices on your juice cleanse, because that will make your juice cleanse so much more enjoyable, delicious, and really fun. So I hope this video was helpful for you guys. If you did find it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will always be notified of new videos. I'll definitely be making more videos about juicing and continuing to answer all your questions, and all of your great video suggestions will definitely be coming in future episodes. So that's it for me. If you have any other questions about my juice cleanse and you want to know more, please put them in the comments down below and I will definitely answer them in future videos. Thank you so much for watching and supporting this channel. I will catch you all in the next video.